Welcome to our webinar series. My name is Heather Barthelmess, and I'm the Marketing Manager for the MI 529 programs here at the Michigan Department of Treasury. Today we're going to discuss Michigan's 529 savings programs. Primarily, we will focus on the two direct sold college savings programs, MET and MESP. We will talk about some trends in higher education costs, the similarities and differences between MET and MESP, and how to start saving for your loved one's future education. Let's get started. Michigan has 4 different 529 savings options. 529 is an internal revenue code that basically gives you tax-advantaged ways to save for future education costs. MET is a prepaid 529 plan. It allows you to purchase college credits based upon today's prices, and MET will pay out at future tuition costs. MET's been around for more than 37 years. We are actually the first plan of this type in the country. Since MET is a 529 plan, it allows your funds to grow tax-free if they are used for qualified higher education expenses. Also, Michigan residents may qualify for a tax deduction on their contributions into the program. For MET, there isn't a limit on your state tax deduction. For example, if you contribute $30,000 in a year and you have at least that much income to deduct from, you can take that full deduction on your state of Michigan income taxes. MESP is a 529 savings plan. You can choose from different investment options and use those funds to pay for future education expenses. MESP is actually celebrating their 25th anniversary here in 2025. Since MESP is also a 529 plan, it allows your funds to grow tax-free if they're used for higher education expenses. Michigan residents may also qualify for a tax deduction on their contributions. For MESP, you are capped at $10,000 for joint filers or $5,000 per year for single filers. Remember, this deduction is based upon filing status and not the number of students you are saving for. MET and MESP are both direct sold 529 plans, so they're going to be our focus for today's presentation. Michigan also offers the MI 529 Advisor Plan. This is similar to MESP, except you would work through a financial advisor to invest in this plan. This plan tends to be a little more expensive since you would be working through a financial advisor. Finally, Michigan offers the MI ABLE program for those with disabilities. This plan allows savings for people with disabilities without compromising their ability to receive government assistance. Why should you think about saving for future education with MET and MESP? We hear a lot about rising college costs, but what does that really look like? Here in Michigan, tuition has increased nearly 13% in the past 5 years. Nationally, in the last decade, the cost of tuition at public four-year schools has increased more than 36%. If you are saving for a young child, it's important to keep these trends in mind. Saving a little now can really save you a lot of money in the future. You have a lot of options when it comes to using MET and MESP for future education costs. MET directly pays for tuition and mandatory fees. MESP can also be used to pay for things like room and board, books, and other required expenses. Both programs can be used at Michigan public colleges and universities. Since MET is prepaid tuition, if you use it at a Michigan public college or university, MET will pay for however many credits you've purchased, even if the costs are double what you paid to MET. Think of it like insurance. It does not matter what the tuition costs are or what the stock market has done, your tuition is covered. MESP is an investment savings program, so with MESP, you will have however much you have in your investment accounts to use for costs. Although MET does work best at Michigan public colleges and universities, funds can be used elsewhere if needed. Funds from both programs can be used at Michigan private colleges. With MET, we convert your credits into a dollar amount based upon the costs at the Michigan public schools at the time the student decides to attend the private college. We then direct those funds to the school. With MESP, you again have the value of your account to use at the private college. Although MET and MESP are Michigan programs, students are not limited to attending school in Michigan. Funds from both programs can be used to pay for out-of-state schools and trade schools. Keep in mind, MET converts your credits to dollars to pay the school, so your MET may or may not cover the tuition fully at a non-Michigan public college or university. If your student decides schooling beyond high school is not for them, that's okay. A MET contract can be terminated for a refund, and MESP funds can be withdrawn. Keep in mind, funds that are not used for qualified higher education expenses may be subject to a 10% federal penalty and regular income taxes on the earnings portion of that refund. As you can see, despite one program being a prepaid tuition program and one being an investment savings program, both plans have a lot of similarities. Both plans can be opened with as little as $25. Both plans can accept rollovers from other 529 plans. If you have a 529 plan that maybe you opened with your financial advisor or banker, you probably have an out-of-state plan and you're not getting your state of Michigan income tax deduction. So you can always roll those funds over into a MET or an MESP. If you already have an MESP and you're looking to get some prepaid tuition, maybe lock in some of the gains you've had in MESP, you can roll a portion of your MESP into MET and buy that prepaid tuition. Both programs can be contributed to in a variety of ways, including payroll direct deposit and ACH. The payroll direct deposit will be after-tax dollars that you can contribute directly from your paycheck into your MET or MESP plan. It's just like adding another bank account to split your paycheck into. You can, of course, set up automatic recurring payments from your bank account on both the MET and MESP site to contribute that way as well. The state income tax deduction. So as I mentioned before, with MET, you get no limit on that state income tax deduction. With MESP, you have that $5,000 or $10,000 per year based upon your filing status. And if you use either of these programs for qualified higher education expenses in the future, they're going to grow tax-free. So it gives you a great way of saving a little bit more money without having to pay taxes on it. As we talked about, funds can be used at any qualified institution that can be in Michigan, out of Michigan, even some out-of-country institutions. If that institution can accept federal financial aid dollars, it is considered a qualified higher education institution. A lot of people are very concerned too if you are saving that may impact your financial aid eligibility in the future, and it really has a very small impact. If you're going to save in a 529 plan as a parent, they're only going to take about 5.6% of that whole value into account when determining need-based aid. If you are a grandparent, they do not take that into account whatsoever when determining need-based aid. If you were just to put this money in a student savings account, they're going to take up to 20% of the value into account. So it's a lot more of an impact in something other than a 529 plan. If you decide that this original beneficiary or future student does not need all of the money that you have saved or all the credits you have purchased, those are transferable to an immediate family member. And an immediate family member includes everything from siblings to nieces, nephews, first cousins of the original beneficiary. It can even go down to the beneficiary's own children someday. So you may be saving for your child now, but end up funding part of your grandchild's education in the future because of that transferability. As we talked about, MET is a 529 prepaid program. So you buy college credits now at today's price. It's kind of like insurance. And then MET pays out at future tuition costs. Whereas MESP is an investment-based program, and you're going to have 22 investment options to choose from. You can research the historical performance and exactly what those investments are made up of on the MESP website. No matter which plan you choose, the earlier you start, the more you can save. This chart shows you what you can happen with savings if you start saving when the child is in kindergarten versus if you started saving in the 9th grade. Starting early not only gives you more time to add money into your MET or MESP, but with MESP, that also gives your money more time in the market and more potential for gains. With MET, the way the credits are priced, the younger the student is, the less expensive the credit hours are to purchase. So the more you can purchase when the child is young, the more you will save. This presentation only touches on these programs. I would recommend visiting our website to find more information. The website is savewithmi529.com. Both programs have benefits to help you meet your savings goals. You don't have to just pick one. The programs actually work really well together. You can use MET to pay for your tuition and then use your MESP to pay for everything else. It also helps you diversify. You have your insurance type piece with MET and the investment piece with MESP. You can enroll with both programs online. Enrollment will take about 15 minutes. You'll want to open separate accounts for each child. So if you have 2 children, you may end up having 2 METs and 2 MESPs. If you have additional questions about the program or your particular situation, you can set up a free virtual one-on-one session with a staff member. You can find the link to schedule an appointment on our website. And of course, you can always call. Our number is up on the screen as well. Thank you for joining me today. Please check out the other videos in our webinar series, including a deeper dive into the different MET plans and contribution options on our What is MET page of the MET website.